Hey, it's Friday, which means it's an episode of People Like You. My name is Emmanuel Osasir, your online personal trainer and wellness coach, and today I am met with a very special guest, Miss Kaylee.
Hi.
So, me and Kaylee have been friends for some time now. We met mutually through my girlfriend at a Christmas party that I threw, and we go on hikes, we do all sorts of fun stuff. Kaylee is also the girlfriend of Chris, who is in episode number 4. So we're just like the 4 amigos, me and my girl, Kaylee and Chris. And she is a super mom, which means she has figured out a way to have a little kid, be in a full-time relationship, a full-time job, and still stay in shape. So she's going to share some of that. But before anything else, I want Kaylee to go ahead and introduce herself.
Hello. My name's Kaylee, and it's true, I have a young child. He is 4 years old, full of life and full of energy. His name is Christian, and I also go to school full-time. What about that? So yeah.
Hold on.
Yep. Right now, it's summer break, but I am taking a summer school class. It doesn't start till July, so I got a little break. So
Sweet.
It's nice to be out of finals, and it's nice to be off of work.
Right.
And so yeah, I'll go get the little one in a little bit.
I know. Thank you for your time. You literally have to go pick them up right after this, so
Yeah.
I'm so happy that you're able to come on. So I want you to. You told me right before we started that that you're fasting right now. So we'll get into that in a little bit. But I want you to start off with where your fitness journey started. I know you did. Did you do cheerleading in high school or?
Friends don't let other friends cheer.
Oh,
no,
okay.
I played softball and played basketball.
Softball and basketball. Okay, so you've been athletic, and and I want to know kind of like where your fitness journey started, because a lot of people that do athletics in high school, they get older and they stop being active. That hasn't been the case for you, despite going to school full time, having a kid, and all this other stuff that you do. So kind of share like how that started and what keeps you going and stuff.
So it started actually when I was young. I was 4 years old. I started t-ball. My older brothers are 9 and 11 years older than me, so they were always like so inspiring to me. So I always wanted to be just like them. So I grew up super tomboy. I was the only little girl on the all-star team the first year that I started t-ball, and I have played softball ever since I was 4. And then when I was in 5th grade, I played basketball for my elementary school, and that kind of took off as well. So I had 2 sports under my belt, played them all the way up until high school, played softball up until all 4 years of high school. Basketball, I kind of had to choose between which one I wanted to play, and then I also wanted to start working because I wanted money, and my mom kind of cut me off. And so she's like, you're old enough to get a job, get a job if you want your Abercrombie and American Eagle. So I got a job, and I cut out basketball. But ever since then, I have pretty much stayed active. My muscle memory has stayed with me, thank goodness. When I was pregnant with my son, I stayed super active. I ran 2.5 miles at like 7.5 months pregnant. I remember being
Holy
yeah, people are looking at me with my belly. I'm just running, and I stayed really active. After I had my son, it was a lot harder to get back in the gym. You lose a lot of muscle making a child. You lose so much muscle just because all of your energy is going into making that baby, and so you don't really want to use a lot of weight. You don't really want to, put too much stress on your belly. So, and then eating, man, those cravings were out of this world. I craved fried burritos and Dr. Pepper. It was so intimidating to keep a clean diet. But throughout the years, I've maintained, and I have been on my new kind of kick fitness journey for the last like 2.5 years.
Okay,
So, yeah.
Cool. So it sounds like you've had a habit already set. And how did you kind of form? Is it kind of? I mean, because life changes and stuff. Your schedule changes, work and school, and then you're doing different things. How is it that you get on your regular routine no matter what comes into your life? Apparently.
So I noticed like as I got older, my body started to change, especially having a child. My mom told me some really great advice. She told me, nobody told me when I was older that you have to eat less. And I don't think she necessarily meant you have to eat less food. I think she meant you have to eat less bad foods. So I really took that to heart, and so I try to be really conscious of my sugar intake. I try to be really conscious of like bread and gluten, even natural sugar, fruits, like watermelon, safer one. There's always watermelon in my refrigerator. I try to be really self-conscious on not overindulging too much in those areas. And I also started lifting, which was a tremendous help when trying to cut the body fat out. So that helps a lot too.
Right. So, what was it like when you first started to lift, and then what are some changes that you first? Because a lot of girls, they're unfortunately they're really intimidated when the weight side of the gym. That's why the guys are the big people and everything like that. But you took the courageous step and you went over there, and I mean, I think you still lift today, still, right? So, what are some changes and some things that have helped you with weightlifting?
So I got started because I saw Chris's nutritionist, and he told me, like, if you want your body to evolve, you need to start eating way more protein. And I was just like, you know what, you're right. He was like, you want muscle, you have to lift heavier weight. And then I was like, okay, that makes sense. And so Chris was like, if you just listen to me and follow my workout routine, like, you will build your muscle. And I said, okay, that's fine. What he forgot to mention was once you build your muscle and you have fat over your muscle, you look a lot bigger and your pant size start going up, but your body fat will stay the same, if not decrease. So measuring my body fat, it's actually better than it's been in a really long time, but with muscle underneath,
it doesn't show on the scale.
Exactly.
And so, because muscle's a lot heavier than fat. Exactly. I'm so glad you said that, because a lot of people, not to cut you off, just hold the thought. A lot of people, they'll start gaining muscle, but they want to lose fat, and really, fat, building muscle or lean muscle is good for burning fat because of your metabolism, the way your body works too. Exactly. But from a scale perspective, you're still gonna, you're not
really gonna lose weight. And that's what I was constantly, I still do. I was constantly weighing myself, and he's like, he put the scale on the roof yesterday, and I was like,
good for him.
No, for real, because, I want that number to be a certain number, but I keep having to remember that if I'm going to be in this, like, headstrong, then I need to cut that number game out of my perception, because it really does take an effect. And, a lot of it is mindset, and I decided a long time ago, like I said, 2.5 years ago, when you change your mind, you change your life. And so I wanted to really put my head down. I wanted to grind, and I just wanted to live my life as pure and as obedient as I possibly could. And so since then, that's what I've been doing. That's just like my little weakness that I have so far, opposed to sugar. But yeah, it was pretty funny yesterday. I just... I was having a moment, I like to say, with him. I'm like, you know what, you're right. You're right.
Nah, it happens. And you work out with Chris, right?
Yeah, we do.
Cool. Do you prefer to work out by yourself or work out with Chris, or how does that go for you?
We work out separately, but at the same time. So we'll go together, we'll leave together. Typically, sometimes we'll be on different days, like he'll be on arms and I'll be on legs. But if we're doing like the same body part, we'll start out together, but I just can't sit there and squat, 10 plates for 100 reps, you know what I mean? So I'll do, I try and like max out, and then I'll try and go to another exercise. He does the same muscle, about 6 different exercises per muscle. So, I mean, once I'm on like the 3rd exercise, I get kind of burnt out, and then I go do cardio.
Correct.
But I try as hard as possible to do like the same muscle 3 to 4 exercises. If I'm having a really good day, 5.
Right.
I've never done more than 6 just because I'll be a big sore ball the next
Yeah,
day.
yeah,
And it's like
yeah.
really hard being a girl sometimes, especially being a mom, being
Yeah.
really sore every day. But
Right.
you know what? I've been sore for a really long time, so
Yeah.
I can kind of muscle through it. But there's also like foods that you can eat that help you with soreness.
Of
and
course, yeah.
I try to stay on top of that as well. So
Yeah. So for the listeners, I found out a couple of years ago that cherry juice is really good for soreness. Did you know that?
I did know that. Cherries are really
And I'm
good.
sure there's a whole bunch of things, but that's what worked for me. Like
Yeah.
pure, not like like the sugary stuff, like the pure
No,
like
yeah,
cherry.
like that.
Yeah. So
It's
check
almost
that out. if you
sour.
want.
It's almost sour kind of to the taste.
Yeah, it's I
Like
don't know
kind of
what to
like pure
compare-
cranberry juice, but it's pure cherry juice.
Yeah, cranberry juice is real good. So I love cranberry juice. We gotta get
It's
some
alright.
this weekend. It's really good. Okay, so pretty much you talked about your routine and everything, and you're a very habitual person. So you just clockwork, right? Being able to balance everything. So with all these hats that you have to wear, and the way that your day goes on a day-to-day basis, because a lot of the people that are listening, they have busy schedules too. So what are some things that you're able to do at the end of the day to debrief, unwind, relax, kind of reset? Because you're not burned out. You're always full of energy whenever I see you. So what are some tips and secrets that you got?
So my tips are to not eat so late. Because when I eat late, I feel like almost like I need my food to digest before I go to sleep. Like it's almost uncomfortable, you know what I mean? Like after you're done with Thanksgiving, all you want to do is lay on your belly, but you can't really go to sleep, you know what I mean? You just want it to be over.
Right.
So I try not to eat super, super late, and I also, I like to waste as much energy as I can at the gym. So when I hit the bed, I am exhausted, after a long day. And so that is mainly what I do. I also shower at night with a really hot shower.
Relax and,
super hot shower. And then also in the morning, not so hot. More lukewarm in the morning to wake me up, give me a nice little energy burst. So
you shower at night and then in the morning again?
Yeah, sometimes I shower in the middle of the day too before I go to the gym.
Wow.
I like to shower a lot.
High water bill.
Not at all.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Good.
Right?
That works out.
I know. Our house is like the same as yours.
That's
It's like
true.
30.
Water's not very
Like
expensive. Maybe I should try
$35.
showering 3 times a day.
It's good for you.
Yeah, no, I for sure have to shower before. To that point, I always shower before I go to sleep because it's just that therapeutic, just that relief. That
Yeah.
yes, definitely.
Spray some eucalyptus in the
Exactly.
showers and out really quick.
Yeah, take care of yourself for sure. So you juice as well. Go ahead and explain to our listeners what juicing is and why you got into it and some benefits that you've had.
So I asked for a juicer for my birthday from Chris, and he got me this really cool one. It was kind of not really on the too expensive side, maybe like a little less than $100, and so it's not that bad. But I started juicing celery at first, and it was to help with like digestion and really to like move my system along. Then it went to juicing ginger. I juice everything now from cucumbers, carrots, ginger, beets, lemon, and then sometimes I'll make like a sugar juice. I'll add like green apples, oranges, but I try to mainly stick to carrots as my sugar source, or green apples. So ginger is really good for multiple things. It's really good for your stomach, it's really good for your heart, it's really good for people with chronic disease like diabetes, high blood pressure. And a lot of those things are really genetic in my family. So I'm trying to prolong myself and prevent myself from developing those things, because you're more so capable of following in your parents' footsteps with their habits and stuff like that. It's not necessarily genetic, like I'm gonna genetically get
more habit-based.
Exactly.
For sure. Great point.
And so that's why I'm trying to like reverse the effect right now, trying to teach my son really good habits. And it's really good to just cleanse yourself